Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for your attendance tonight. We understand it's a very, very long day for Year 7s and their parents. So we'll keep it quite brief tonight, try and get you some very, very clear information about the one-to-one laptop program and your son's laptop, and also be able to give you, in receipt of the laptops tonight, with some information for tomorrow, and to have your son's technology component of education start as soon as possible. So thank you once again for coming tonight. My name's Don Perner, and for the last 3 years I've been the ICT coordinator at the college, but my role has slightly changed this year and for the next 3 years. I'm currently the coordinator of information and innovation, so apart from having the laptop program as part of my portfolio, the idea of innovation in education is going to be a growing part of that portfolio as well. And it's going to be a small component of what I'm going to say to your sons tonight about this moment in time and their education and the possibilities of a new start that's also been mentioned by Mr. Miller at different times today. We might start with a brief prayer. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Lord, give our students the courage to take this opportunity for a new beginning in their education, and their parents the strength to support them in this transition stage of their life. St. Martin Champagnat, Mary, our good mother, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. And also we'd like to show our respect and acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, Thorold people, past and present, on which this gathering takes place. So, the one-to-one laptop program at St Gregory's College. People often ask, why a one-to-one laptop program? And you're probably aware that all around the world schools are grappling with what type of technology to put in the hands of their students, or their sons and daughters, or their students, or what type of technology do we allow them to bring to a school. Well, at the college we decided a number of years ago that a one-to-one laptop program would be best for your sons, and for a number of reasons. Many educators, schools, institutions, leaders talk about a BYOD program being optimal and wonderful. And in the right environment, a BYOD program, which is bring your own device, can be a fantastic situation if it's run appropriately. On doing research for the college, I found that there's difficulty in classes when students bring their own device, an inequity of the type of device, the standard, the cost, an inequity of the types of programs that can be used, the difficulty for teachers handling different devices in the classroom has caused difficulties in some schools. And at St Greg's we stood back for a number of years, about 6 years ago, and watched the local schools and what they did. And we took that research and that anecdotal evidence and decided on the one-to-one program with laptops, the same laptop for every student, on a very, very positive payment program for a number of reasons. Firstly, the benefit for the parents. You'll see that there's no need to source a device. I've had 2 daughters through school. I've got one still in school at the moment. And when it's left to the parents to make that decision, sometimes it's quite difficult to decide what device to purchase. And sometimes the school gives a detailed overview of what that might be. Parents still have to source that and still have to purchase that. There's no need to source the accidental damage insurance because that's part of our program at the moment. No need to source a repairer if there's been any damage, and no need for a replacement device if your son's laptop is damaged and out of action for a period of time. And I'll explain more about how that happens later. For your sons, we offer them a substantial amount of software. So for the BYOD programs, for example, often parents are responsible for supplying that, purchasing it, purchasing license, etc. It's almost like a hidden cost that we don't talk about with regards to those types of programs that is on top of actually purchasing a device. The students will always have a device in hand here. Damaged laptop goes into the IT office, a swap occurs while the repair takes place. So your son will go back to class with a device continually throughout the school year. They've got technical support in the IT office, which I'll talk a little bit more later, but they've got technical support all around them. because every one of their classmates has the same device, generally the same software, and they've got experts around them sitting right there. And often you'll see the boys giving each other advice about optimal use of software and hardware as well. So that's a fantastic thing. If in the BYOD program or other types of programs, that can be a difficult thing because people can be sitting next to each other with very different devices. But here, technical support all around the students. There's no inequity, of course. There's no better laptop or worse laptop or more expensive laptop or inexpensive laptop, which I think can be an issue for families and students and schools. And there's no loss or misplacement of documents as well, because they've got cloud storage. They've got 2 cloud storage components at the school that they're trained in using, and tomorrow they'll learn about that. If they're using it responsibly, there's really little chance of them losing their documents and their data, and it's something they'll learn a bit about tomorrow. For the teachers, very simply, there's a consistency in the classroom. They know what the students can and can't do. They know what programs are there, what software there is. There's no guesswork with regard to a student having an iPad and might be able to deliver some type of product as opposed to a person with a laptop. I'm not discounting any type of device. I use an iPad myself and other tablets. They're all wonderful. I use a Mac computer at home. I use a PC here. They all do similar things, but a laptop at this point in time we believe is a better product tool in schools than a tablet of some sort. The teachers don't have to offer much technical advice because of the reasons I mentioned before, and obviously then they've got more time for the students because they're not dealing with technical issues at all. It's more about teaching and learning. So there's just a brief summary on why we believe the one-to-one laptop program really is optimal, and optimal for St Gregory's College as well. For the boys, having a laptop is a real great leveller. And what does that mean? It means that you all have a very, very powerful device that can do a lot of things. So possibly a student who has been a very high achiever at school and a student who maybe has not been a high achiever have the same powerful device, if used properly, can produce very high quality work, whether it's literary, of writing, whether it's multimedia of some sort. You all have the same capacity to deliver high quality work and to be assessed in that way. And the possibility of showing your knowledge in different ways that might be more suitable to the way you learn, are possible with devices like this. And having said that, as a very important point, we certainly believe at the college that there's learning to be done without technological devices. Teachers will decide when and where they use those devices. There may be lessons where they don't use them at all. Writing with a pen and paper is one of the points we're really looking at this year to continue with boys improving their writing. So we're finding in 2018 quite a good balance of traditional handwriting, which is still being asked of students in external exams like the HSC, etc., but becoming really quite proficient at using technology to help their learning. This device is also an addition to your diary. It's your calendar. It can be your calendar. It is your communication system. It's your personal assistant, and it can be your teacher. Take this moment in time, because I couldn't begin to decide where you've all come from with regards to technology on your learning, but you've all come here with a clean slate, with a new, brand spanking, beautiful, powerful device to assist you at home and at school with your learning as well. Take this opportunity to think, okay, let's start afresh. I'm in high school, I'll listen to my teachers, I'll look to see what my computer can do to help me when I need it, as well as the human beings around me, and make this a moment in time where you've changed your schooling and your education, which is possible.
In the unassigned case, is the Parramatta timetable one? So
this device can be your video editing studio. You can create feature films on this. It can be your sound editing lab or studio as well. You could theoretically produce a song, produce a piece of music, the next Justin Bieber. We don't know. We don't know who's in the audience today. It's also your digital library, if you're a reader. We also believe strongly here to read hard copy books still. and we still have a program on site that allows us to do that every week for the students. But it can also store quite a number of books, referenced textbooks, fictional, non-fictional books, if you wish. You can create websites. You can start your own blog. There's possibly careers waiting to be made through that device. And I think there's been a lot of careers started around the world with students at home in an office with a laptop to be able to pursue whatever their passions are, and just pursue them for enjoyment, or eventually some type of career. I'm going to sit at the table now, and I'm going to show you what's possible, a few examples of what the students are doing here with their computers that are a little bit more than just slide presentations, and they're a little bit more than just students or young people who know how to use Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat, or download illegal content, or just watch movies. Remember, boys, this is an educational tool. We have access to all those other things I imagine at home in different ways. Use this one wisely for your education, which is one of the most important things in your life. So if you'll bear with me for a moment, I'll just show you a couple of things the students have been doing in the past year and what you might be doing as we move ahead into this 2018. Just hope you can hear me. One of the programs we have here, and all these programs are free for you to use. One is called SketchUp, and I imagine a lot of you have used SketchUp before. It's a very simple but powerful 3D design tool, and you all have access to this as of tomorrow. It allows you to create 3D designs so simply and powerfully that, apart from being very enjoyable, you can produce industry standard designs. Now, to save me drawing one in front of you, because my hand's a little slippery and it's going to slide off this touchpad, I'm going to show you quickly a design a student created last year, which was of a kitchen that his parents wanted to create. This is the design the student created. And in a moment, I'm just going to show you a short video of how this 3D design works. Okay, so I've got a little bit of a technical issue, which is kind of ironic, but we'll move on anyway. This design here was created by a student of a 3D kitchen, and he was actually able to create an animation that took you into the kitchen and around, looking through that kitchen, the 3D kitchen, exactly as the parents had designed it. And you can see that there's appliances, there's handles, there's particular textures, etc. And all of those things can be created from the 3D sketching, but also the actual types of objects can be downloaded from 3D Warehouse to make an authentic model. Now, the reason I'm showing you that is because the boy showed me the model that the actual company sent them. Now, the company, no criticism of the company whatsoever. They sent a 3D sketch of the kitchen, and it was fine, and it did the job. But this student, and I'm a little disappointed why it's not showing you at the moment,
maybe it's not replicating,
was able to create the same 3D sketch, but allow the person to walk inside and view it. For me, it was like one of the students at the college surpassing industry standard with what they were providing customers. No criticism of the company, of course, because they did their job and they supplied it. But we've got 14-year-old students who are using a free SketchUp program who are providing products like that that are better than industry standard. And I'll move on and show you a next sample. and saying a short prayer to God that the technology will pick up from this moment onwards. Interactive maps as well. Now, this is, if you'll have a look at the moment with this interactive map, about 6 months ago I was planning a trip to New Zealand, and this is the web page the company sent to me, and it had the trip cruise from Auckland to Sydney on the web page, and when I went to click on that, it enlarged the page for me, and I had to work really hard to find out what happened at each location and what the cruise was like. Last year, boys were actually creating their own interactive maps with Google My Maps, which is part of the college's applications. And they were creating maps that looked similar, but had this definite interactivity that you can see. So for example, if you click on Sydney, it showed that the first night of accommodation was at the Holiday Inn. It showed a photo of the outside. It showed a photo of the inside of the studio room. It showed a photo of the rooftop pool, sorry, and some information about the actual hotel. They were also able to show the flight path, flights, flight duration, etc. And you can see they even included videos that pertain to that trip. I won't show you the whole video there. His first stop once landing was Auckland, where they picked up the cruise, and there's pictures of Auckland, but they also included actual travel logs showing the top 10 attractions in Auckland. Now, I've used a couple of travel agents in the past, and they all do their job, and they all do the job well, but no one's ever sent me an interactive map that shows me the attractions where I'm going to, the inside of the room, which I've chosen, which these boys did. It's never happened before. So what I'm saying is we've got students here using their laptop, free programs, creating product higher than industry standard again. The message is to the boys, you can do this as well. I'll go a little bit further before I move on. And you'll see they've even shown the cruise ship. It's the Golden Princess. That's the inside of the cabin. You'll see the dining room, the pool, and they've also got a video of the actual cruise ship, which I know you can do on YouTube. But can you imagine a travel agent sending you this interactive map with the whole itinerary, with pictures, information, and videos as well? All at your fingertips as of tomorrow morning, boys. I'll move on slightly. Apart from that, we have an amazing opportunity to use video technology as well. So the boys in this school are using video technology to be able to create product. They're able to use slow motion mobile technology in classes also to see things that the naked eye can't. And I'm wondering if my prayer to God worked. And you might be able to see some of the slow motion mobile technology that the students were using last year. What they did in their science classes is they used their mobile phones to use the slow motion video effect, and they transferred the film to their video, and they were able to see things that in the past you couldn't see. We had to believe scientists, we had to believe people who were saying certain things about physics, gravity, force, but now 14, 13-year-old boys sitting in a science lab can prove theories by using their mobile phone and their laptop. I couldn't help but show this one. This is one of the first grade basketballers. We're using slow motion technology to watch what he was doing with one of his layups. And what I might do is I might take that in hand and show you what we were doing in class with these students. This is Zach Anderson from first grade basketball. Now, what I'm doing now, as you can see, is I'm taking total control of that footage, frame by frame, which is what the students were doing in science, as you can see. Now, basically, if you watch broadcast TV and you watch the NRL, they have something called the bunker. And I don't know how many millions of dollars they spend to make that work on TV. And we've got boys sitting in class who can slow-mo, frame by frame, scientific physics experiments for free, just like that. So when you watch TV and you see the bunker and somebody's reaching out to the try line and there's a blade of grass between, you can also do that with this device, but with things that are more than just sport. Now, I won't show you any of the science activities because that would spoil it for you when you have your science classes over the next few years, but they're quite amazing. Excel spreadsheets. People are a bit averse to mathematics. A spreadsheet is a powerful thing and probably the basis to most of the amazing calculations that are done by banks and also, statisticians, etc. Here I've got a fictitious cricket club with some batsmen on the left-hand side, the runs they've scored in the first column, the balls they've faced in the second column, and their strike rate. For those people who don't like cricket, the strike rate basically is how many runs they score per 100 balls. It's also like a percentage of how many runs they score. There's a quick calculation we put in there, and as you can see, the next batsman, if I put down that he's hit 80 runs out of 129 balls and hit return, the right-hand column gives me the strike rate instantly. This is the sort of technology we have at your fingertips. It doesn't have to be about sport. You might be part of a cricket club or a sporting club where you want to set up an Excel spreadsheet like this to show the strike rate of your mates or how many free throws they've scored or if they're golfers below par and above par scores, etc. It's very powerful. So for example, if you look at this sheet, if I want to work out the strike rate of all those people on the left-hand side, all I do is drag down that all the way down and it instantly creates it for me. Spreadsheets are the most underestimated piece of technology I've ever seen. Use them for your own interests. Very powerful. So just a few examples, I suppose, of what you can do. I won't spend too much more time talking about that. But remember, laptop computers are not just about slide presentations and word processing and email. Think about the types of things you can create. All those things we created, no cost in your devices, and they're far better than some industry standard. That means, people who are running businesses are doing. They're far better than that as well. Which brings me to the nuts and bolts of the device and the program, so that we can sort of get those devices into your hands. I'll also throw to Mr. Miller for a moment for a few words. It's a HP ProBook 430 G5, Generation 5, for those people who are interested in that. 8 gig of RAM, 128 gigabyte of storage. The processor is i5. We run a Windows 10 program here. It's Microsoft. This is how I look at it. For the families who are Apple families, the boys coming to school, they're learning a new operating system. Win-win. It means they leave St Greg's agnostic device. They can use any device they go to at university or for a job. Employer will put a machine in front of them, and these boys at St Greg's will be able to use it, especially if they've come from a Mac environment at home. That's me. I've done that. And I feel confident now because you put a device in front of me and I can use it. It's my job, but if it wasn't my job, I'd be comfortable that I could do that. So your sons will be able to do that. If you've got a PC at home in a Microsoft sort of situation at home, well, that's a win as well, because you're going to walk into a situation you're comfortable using straight away. It's also included as a 3-year accidental damage policy. So for the entire life of the 3-year program, because it's a 3-year program, any accident occurs, what the student does is take it to the IT office. Immediately, they will give him a form, an incident report form. They must put some type of incident down so the insurance company can see that it was an accident and an incident. It's signed by a parent and the student, returned. As soon as it's returned, it's processed for repair. But it can't get processed for repair until that form comes back. It must be returned within 5 days. Very, very important. The excess on that, as you know, with most insurance policies, there's an excess to be paid, large and small, is $60.50 for this. But you've got to understand in some cases that the repair for a laptop can sometimes be more than the cost of the laptop. It's the way the industry works. No comment from me about why. But a screen or 2 broken parts of the computer could cost anywhere from $600 to $800 to $1,000. $60.50 is a really good excess to pay for a repair, to have that insurance. And 3 components per year for those 3 years. It's a good policy, it works. Most students don't need it, but you may need it at some time. If it's a non-accidental damage, that's a different story. The insurance company won't cover non-accidental damage. You may be liable to pay for the full cost. So boys, it's very important that we provide the protective case for you, use it. Tomorrow in the boot camp we talk to you about proper care, and if you do, we've got students who've gone through their whole 3-year program without one repair because they're looking after their devices. Mostly the things I've said have been there at this stage. That's it. Now, tomorrow is the Year 7 boot camp, and we won't be doing any chin-ups. The boot camp is about your laptop and getting to know it. So you're going to spend time in boot camp sessions in the morning, getting to know how to use the laptop, how to use the operating system, and the platforms we use here at the college as well. That's all coming to you tomorrow. Now, before I talk about the actual delivery of these laptops, I'd just like to reiterate one more time, they're very powerful devices. Whether you like PCs, whether you like HPs, whether you're an Apple Mac person, they are very powerful. If you use them wisely, you can do, your education can be greatly enhanced here, or just greatly far more enjoyable for you to follow your passion with some of the programs there. Use them very wisely, and that can be the case. Remember, this is a moment in time for you. Your education, it's almost like you've started again. For those students who've done exceptionally well, continue to do exceptionally well. For those 2 students who may have struggled, use all the things, all the people that are here to help you, the devices as well, to try and make your education more advanced and more optimal for you. And before I actually go through the process of picking up the devices, I might hand over to Mr. Miller, who has a couple of very important things to say about today and about some traffic issues as well.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming out again tonight. As I told you, we take care of your social life for the rest of the year anyway, so it's good to see so many of you here tonight. Firstly, I'd just like to thank Mr. Perner for the presentation. He does this each year for us because, as I told you, you get a new one in Year 7, you get another new one in Year 10. You don't have to sit through this again in Year 10. We take it, you picked it really up tonight and you'll take it all on board for us. But also we've got other people here. You met Mr. Wilson today when he was up here reading out the names for you. But we've got Mrs. Simmons, she's the Assistant Year Coordinator and she's floating around down the back there. Mr. Brennan, also the Deputy Headmaster, he's come along tonight as well. Mrs. Miller, the Director of Teaching and Learning, she's down there to help with that support. And also we've got some people up in the box upstairs, Mr. Bissett and Mr. Putland, who've been helping us with our IT and technical issues. So I'm very appreciative that they've come along tonight and the fact that they've been responsible for setting up all these laptops down there for your dissemination tonight. You would have got an email today about the pick-up and drop-off. Some people might not know where the Western Gate is, apparently, so we've got a few questions about that. Sun sinks in the west, it's out there. So if you go down the other side of the cricket ground, there's a long drive down there, there are double gates at the end, and there's a roundabout outside there. It comes in, that is our western entrance. So when we talk about that, that's what we're talking about. This one is our eastern entrance, it's more our celebratory entrance, and that will always be. When we first did these junior schools, they talked to me about having a brand new entrance over there and having all sorts of things, and I said it's not going to work. This is our main entrance, it will always be the main entrance. But when we're looking at this pick-up drop-off, you would have had that entertainment this morning. As Brother Ernest told me, he sat up in the monastery and he just watched Bad Gully Road today. He was very impressed with my power, that every time I let 2 cars go, I actually control Bad Gully Road and the flow of traffic out there. So it's important we get off that for everyone else's benefit. So we're saying to you, do not use that pickup on the eastern entrance tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. Between the hours of 7:30 and 8:30, use the western entrance, and of an afternoon between 2:30 and 3:30, use the western entrance as well. The other times don't matter because you can get up, in and out fairly quickly. And as I've said to many people over the years, if you use the 3:30 drop-off, it's an express drop-off. You just come straight through and you're in and out. But between 7:30 and 8:30 in the morning and 2:30 and 3:30 in the afternoon, the western entrance down there on the other side of the cricket ground where the junior school is, that is our western entrance. and you'll go down there and you'll see it's a 200 or 300 metre road. You can drive straight in. There's a roundabout up this end of it where the boys will wait for you, and then you can drive around. If he's not there, just go out straight, go around the roundabout and come back up again. The other side of it is the boys will take about 10 minutes to get down there unless they're real keen, but the bell up this end goes at 3 o'clock. The boys will walk down there. They should be down there 10 minutes after 3 for you. So if you're in that queue, they should be there by 10 past 3. The other question we've had was about boys in the senior school and their brothers or sisters in the junior school. How does that all come together? My advice there is pick them up in the junior school. They come out about 5 to 3 o'clock, and by the time you drive around to the western entrance and drive up to the roundabout, your senior boys should be down there for pick up and ready to go. That is our theory. Let's see how the practice works. We'll try it for a while. Next Monday, I said we've got a parent forum for Year 7, so let's try it, see how it goes, and you can give me some feedback next Monday on it. But our thinking is we'll put that into practice at least until we get the lights out the front. As I said to you the other day, it's very important that you go out that T intersection very carefully, because people are not stopping when they're coming through. They're not giving way either, and they're going straight over that white dot they call a roundabout. I've seen the police out there. They've picked them up. They wait in the T for them. They go over to the white dot, and the police are booking them for it. The other thing I'd ask you to remember too, the speed out there is 60 on that drive, all the way around. And the police are sitting out there, especially down near the junior school. There are some cement barriers there. They sit there with a radar gun. And also they're just cruising up and down that strip. It's very good. The car that's got the policeman behind him, they're definitely sticking to 60. But it's all the other ones when the police aren't around that are the concern, because some of them are shooting through at 80 for sure. So be aware of it. We've had people on staff who unfortunately have been caught up out there. It is expensive, and as you know, you lose your points as well. So 2:30 to 3:30 of an afternoon, 7:30 to 8:30 of a morning, down there. The gates will be left open longer than that. They'll open at 7, they'll close again, I think it's about 9 of the morning, and it'll be closed during the day. But of an afternoon, they'll be open till 5 o'clock, or I think we're even talking 6 o'clock, because we're also looking at sport training. So the boys do a lot of their sport training down that way, so you can pick them up on that side. The other thing I've had with it towards last year, people were coming in that entrance, thought it was really good to take the four-wheel drives just straight across the ovals, and they could get really close to the ground. I'm going to have a post and rail fence put up along that road, so there'll be parallel parking, but you will not be able to drive off on the sides and park. So it'll only be parallel parking, and that post and rail will protect the ovals for us. The other good news, especially for collegians who play cricket up here on the weekend, at the moment, I know you park up in that borders area and have the wonderful idea of walking down with your cricket kits and your eskies and your chairs, but I'll put a gate in over near the junior school. So there'll be a gate that will open onto those 2 ovals that are closest to the junior school, and collegians will be able to use that on the weekend. I was hopeful it would have been ready for the start of the year, but I'm still chasing that at the moment. So that will go into play as well. And if boys do have to walk over to the junior school, they can go across the ovals, and you will see some stairs that come out of the junior school down onto the oval. Now those gates are open so they can actually walk up into the junior school as well. So that's what's happening with it at the moment. If you've got any questions about it, ask me when I'm down there, or bring them up for me next Monday at the parent forums. As I said to you, 9 o'clock in the morning or 7:30 at night, you're most welcome to come. You don't have to, but any help you need, you want to hear what's going on, that's the place to be. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Mr. Miller. So, the time to pick up your laptops. What's going to happen now is you will move to one of the tables on different sides of the hall, which I'll talk about who goes where. The actual student user agreement form that you've been signed will be handed over, and you'll be given a laptop, a protective bag and a charger. Boys, try and refrain tonight. I know it's a bit tough tonight to use it. It's a networked device, so there are some things you can't do. So please bring it tomorrow fully charged. It's your responsibility to have it fully charged every night. It's just the way society works now with devices, to bring it to the college fully charged to make it last through the day. So that's where we sit at the moment. If you have forgotten your student user form, which has a student signature and your signature on it, there are a number of them on the small table to the left with some pens. So you might quietly go over there and pick one up and sign it before you go to one of the tables if you've forgotten it. come and see me if there's any problems. I'll be around the bottom here for any questions you might like to ask. At this stage, as soon as I've got, I do have to thank Mr. Bissett and Mr. Putland who put the entire rollout of laptops together. They've done a great job. We might like to put our hands together for them, I think. Thank you. So, students and parents with the surname A to L will be on that side of the hall, and student surnames M to Z will be on that side of the hall in sections A to C, D to G, H to L, and then M to O, P to R, S to T, and U to Z. And in a couple of moments, we'll have as many teachers down there we have, and we'll be able to give those out. Once again, it's been a long, long day. Thank you very much. Remember, boys, moment in time. All right, thank you.